Today we are going to discuss about diabetes, like different types of diabetes. There are mainly three types of diabetes. One is type 1 diabetes and another is type 2 diabetes and the last one is gestational diabetes. Type 2 diabetes can be completely reversed by following a proper diet, lifestyle and also engaging in physical activities, and apart from that with the help of Ayurveda and naturopathy. Let me explain the type 2 diabetes with a small demo. Whenever our body converts carbohydrates into glucose, it has to enter into a cell so that it gets burnt. So to enter into a cell, our insulin, which is released from the pancreas, has to open with the key. Hello friends, welcome to your YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about diabetes, like different types of diabetes and how diabetes happens, and like the diabetes scenario in India, etc. Diabetes is a chronic metabolic disorder that affects how our body processes glucose, which is the main source of energy. There are mainly three types of diabetes. One is type 1 diabetes and another is type 2 diabetes and the last one is gestational diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder, and in this actually our pancreas will not be producing insulin, so we have to take the insulin from outside. In type 1 diabetes, our immune system mistakenly attacks the insulin producing cells in pancreas. It is said that type 1 diabetes occurs during the childhood or adolescence, but nowadays we are seeing it happens even at the adult around 20-25 years age also. Type 1 diabetes normally accounts for around 5 to 10% of the total diabetes population. Type 2 diabetes is characterized by the insulin resistance, where the body cells do not respond to the insulin. It is one of the common form of diabetes and it accounts for around 90 to 95% of diabetes population. Type 2 diabetes is normally associated with unhealthy eating habits, improper lifestyle, and lack of physical activity. Type 2 diabetes can be completely reversed by following a proper diet, lifestyle and also engaging in physical activities, and apart from that with the help of Ayurveda and naturopathy. The last form of diabetes is gestational diabetes. Here it normally happens during the pregnancy, and this will normally go after the birth of the child. But women who have gestational diabetes has a high chance of developing type 2 diabetes at a later point of their life. Common symptoms of diabetes include fatigue, frequent urination, unexplained weight loss, blurred vision, slow wound healing, etc. There are many long-term complications of diabetes which affects many organs and our system, including the heart, eyes, kidneys, etc. Regular monitoring of blood sugar levels is very much essential. This can be done by using blood glucose meter. What is the fundamental difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes? In type 1 diabetes, your pancreas is not producing any insulin and you have to supply the insulin from outside, like insulin shots, etc. Whereas in type 2 diabetes, your pancreas is producing a sufficient amount of insulin, but the problem is your cells are not able to receive that insulin because the fats get stored on the insulin, which is not allowing the insulin to open the key. So with that the glucose is not able to enter the cells and it will stay in the glucose. There are few differences between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, such as in type 1 diabetes your pancreas is not producing the insulin, sufficient amount of insulin, so you have to supply the insulin from outside, like with insulin shots or something like that. Whereas in type 2 diabetes your pancreas are producing sufficient amount of insulin, but your cells are not able to receive that insulin because the cells are covered with fat, so your insulin is not able to open the cell, thereby the glucose is not able to enter that particular cell. Then what will happen is the glucose will remain in the bloodstream and this increases the blood sugar levels. Normally in type 2 diabetes, when we consume lot of carbs, it gets converted into glucose. This glucose has to enter the cell so that it gets burnt. Normally cells require some fuel, so this glucose acts as a fuel. So when the fat is stored on the particular cell, what will happen? The glucose will not be able to enter the particular cell and it will remain in the bloodstream. So this increases the glucose level. Let me explain the type 2 diabetes with a small demo. Whenever our body converts carbohydrates into glucose, it has to enter into a cell so that it gets burnt. So to enter into a cell, our insulin, which is released from the pancreas, has to open with the key. So with this, it normally gets opened in a normal scenario. Now, in the case of type 2 diabetes, what will happen is the fat will get closed on the cell so that our key will not be able to open the cell. So now what will happen is, in this scenario, glucose will not be able to enter the cell and it will remain in the bloodstream. This is the fundamental concept in type 2 diabetes. Normally, glucose in the blood stimulates the pancreas to release the insulin, which then triggers the uptake of glucose by the cells, causing blood glucose levels to return to normal base level. We will discuss about this scenario in the further videos. Role of Ayurveda and naturopathy in curing type 2 diabetes is very important. Normally what will happen is, when it comes to Ayurveda, it will speeden the process of recovery. Whereas in naturopathy, it is nothing but the diet changes, lifestyle changes, and apart from that, it will also be having wet pack, enema and all those things, which will help to detoxify the body and we'll be able to reverse the diabetes very fast. So thank you very much. We will catch up in the future videos. Please do subscribe, like, share and also comment about your health condition when it comes to diabetes.